Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel, to a special episode, because today we are test driving the Porsche Taycan Turbo, a brand new all-electric car made by Porsche. They've been kind enough to give it to us for a weekend as a loaner, and actually they don't even realize that they gave it to me with 2.7 million subscribers. They gave it to my wife because she owns a Porsche, another one, and the thing is that I'm test driving it because I'm so curious to see and experience how it is. And I have to say, outer appearance is perfect. It's a very elegant car. It has lots of great little features, like, you know, when you go this way, it opens up the access for the chargers, and go this way and then it closes again. It's Star Trek-like, I think. The first issue with the car is that it has 4 doors. Now that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm a big guy and I actually have issues getting into a car like this, since I'm also not really as flexible anymore as I used to be. So it's a tight fit. Okay. Because as you can see here, I have to squeeze my ass in between this, and this is very low as well. So I think I just have to learn how to do it right. Let's try it. So I go in with my leg first, and then I swing in my ass, and now it's getting tight with my shoulder. And now I have to put my head down, and yeah, I made it! So if you want to brag with the car and you are big, better do not exit unless you're at home in your garage. This is our loading dock here in the town. It's actually only 500 meters from my home, so which I researched it beforehand, and I thought that's perfect. But then from the 2 places, they are blocking one with our own car. That car belongs to the electricity company. You wonder why they install a machine like a loading dock like this and then not allow people to use it by just using it as a parking spot. But the bigger problem is here. Let me show you. Because this is the plug, and it's kind of the standard, and it's actually the same plug that you have in the car. The only problem is that the cable isn't standard. If you want the cable between this and the car, you have to give Porsche an extra 350 euros, and they didn't put the one into the trunk of the car that they gave me as a loaner. Therefore, I couldn't load it here. I had to load it the slow way, which meant that I wasn't able to drive this on the autobahn, since the autobahn is too far away and there's not enough battery power to reach it. Too bad. So this is what came with the car when I picked it up. It is a loaner, of course, and this is actually the mobile charging kit, which comes with 2 different cables. On the one side you have a normal European 230 volt connector, and then you have the 380 volt connector, which I tried, but it failed. For some reason it connected fine to my plug in the workshop. That works fine with all my heavy equipment, but it didn't really work at all. It immediately the circuit breakers jumped, so that didn't work. So we had to charge it with this thing here, which takes forever. Also, I mean, look at that. This is the manual for that charger. I mean, look at that. It's as thick as, you know, your average, you know, Bible in a hotel room. So, and I mean, if you look into it, it's just crazy. If you look at it, this actually needs a pin and a pack number. And actually it hooks up to your Wi-Fi and everything. I mean, a charger. Why do you want to put a charger into your Wi-Fi? It fails me. I just expect to load a car just like I load a car with petrol. Okay, after almost 22 hours of charging, it filled it up with 47.7 kilowatt hours. And the car has a total, I think, of about 80 kilowatt hours total. So there should be enough juice in it for a short trip. So first thing I have to say is once you're seated, it's actually comfortable. You have a lot of free room above your head, so even very tall people can sit into it. Of course, this is very much high-end. There's not many physical buttons. It's just all controlled by this. It's kind of okay, but I still miss like a wheel for volume on the radio, but I guess there is one on the steering wheel. The system here very much like works in an old Cadillac where you have all the switching of the gears here. So I can switch to reverse like so, and you see the display is really comfortable, or I can go into drive. There is no engine, of course, no engine sound. So if I press forward, then the car drives. Okay, so of course it has recuperation. This means that when I push on the brakes, then it actually just doesn't do this with the disc brakes, but it does that with electricity. It feels just like normal, and I see no reason why not having this on all the time. Interesting that the car says I'm allowed to go 50, even though here I'm only allowed to go 30. I have to say, very comfortable driving, very smooth, totally silent. The car is definitely well made. Everything is where it's supposed to be. What is my conclusion? Well, I have to say, it's a really experience-wise, it's very interesting to drive a car like this, because acceleration is phenomenal. It's about the same as in a modern 911, so I think probably the turbo is a little bit more dramatic even. But of course it's the seamless acceleration that is so nice. On the other hand, the charging experience is horrible. I am not ready to buy an electric car right now, because I would be so afraid that I would end up at a charging station where I don't have the right cable, or that is currently not working or whatever. So I would be under constant stress to not be able to drive back home. Therefore, it is really not for me. Speed-wise, if we compare this to a Porsche 911, just a normal standard one with a gas engine, it costs about the same. But of course, this one is much slower. It only goes 260 kilometers an hour, whereas the normal Porsche can go over 300. So therefore there is a difference, and for me it counts because I am actually driving that fast, and it's legal in Germany, so I do it all the time. So it's a slower car, and slower means it's not as good. Still, for the great majority of people that won't be an issue. I have to say that I personally believe that the time isn't ready yet. This car is a glaring example of what happens when you tell engineers that work for a German car manufacturer, when you tell them, okay guys, the CO2 consumption of this car is 0. It doesn't consume any CO2, which is of course completely wrong, since this car is about as, well, how should I put it, obscene as you can be, since the consumption, electric power consumption is so high. And of course it takes so many resources to build this car, with the battery, with the engines, with everything, that it's completely crazy to say this car is environmentally friendly. It is not. It's actually very bad for the environment. It's a sports car, and this has nothing to do with being environmentally friendly. It's a lot of fun, but this is when stupid politicians make an awful policy for the environment. So, a fun car, it wouldn't be the only car that I would want to drive. And actually, I'm going back to my 2015 Toyota Hilux pickup. In any case, I'm really grateful for Porsche to give us this car. And I would like to ask you if you could actually go on their Facebook page of the car store where I got this from and say hello from me. Just leave them a comment. The link is down below. Just say hello from Jörg and say thank you for being so generous to give me the car, and kindly ask them to next time also give me the right cables. I hope you enjoyed my little show, because this car goes about as fast as a Slingshot bullet. Therefore it belongs on this show, I think. Hope you liked it. Thanks and bye bye.